The first laugh hit me like a slap. It cut through the music and clinking glasses, sharp enough to make my spine stiffen before I even understood why. I turned just in time to see my wife, Emma, swaying on her heels as she joked loudly with a group of coworkers. Her wine glass was lifted like a trophy. Her boss, Nathan, stood beside her with a smug grin that made my chest tighten. "And that's why I need a real man," she announced, tossing her hair as if she were on stage. "Someone who can actually keep up with me." The group laughed along with her. I didn't. My ears rang as the room suddenly felt too bright, too loud, too close. I stepped toward them, trying to convince myself I misheard, that the comment was harmless. She must have noticed me then because her eyes flicked over, narrowing for a fraction of a second before she plastered on a smile. "There he is," she said, waving her hand almost dismissively. "My husband." The crowd gave polite nods. Nathan didn't nod. He smirked. "Mark," he said, dragging out the name as if savoring it. I forced a grin that felt like it was glued to my face. "Everything okay over here?" Emma rolled her eyes like I'd interrupted something important. "Relax," she said, tapping my chest with a finger. "We're just talking about how you never want to go out anymore. I need some fun in my life." Her voice carried. People listened. My throat burned. "I didn't say that," I replied quietly. She gave a theatrical gasp. "Oh please. Everyone here knows you're boring." Laughter again. Even hers. Especially hers. I tried to breathe, but each inhale filled me with heat instead of air. I searched her eyes for a hint of a joke, an apology, something real. All I saw was a woman performing. Nathan leaned closer to her. "Some men get comfortable," he said as if I weren't there. "They forget what they have." Emma giggled and leaned into his side. Her hand brushed his thigh. My heart stopped. She looked up at him with a spark I hadn't seen directed at me in months. Then it happened. She dropped onto his lap like she belonged there. The room went silent for me. I didn't hear the claps or whistles or the fake gasps of coworkers pretending to be shocked. My own pulse drowned everything out. Her dress slid up her thighs as she settled in, and Nathan's hand rested comfortably on her hip. She didn't move it. A shard of ice drove itself into my stomach. I stood rooted to the floor while every fear I'd buried clawed its way to the surface. Was this the first time? Or just the first time I was allowed to see? Her eyes flicked back to me. She expected me to explode. Cause a scene. To give her more attention. I took a single step back instead. Confusion flashed across her face. Real confusion. The first honest reaction she'd shown all night. "Mark," she said, as though suddenly remembering I was her husband. But the damage was already done. I walked away before I could break down in front of her audience. The hallway outside the ballroom was mercifully dark and empty. I leaned against the wall, trying to gather myself. Anger, humiliation, and heartbreak all twisted together until I could barely stand. When she found me minutes later, she looked oddly proud, like she'd proven something. "What was that all about?" she asked, folding her arms. "You tell me," I whispered, staring at the floor. She scoffed. "Don't be dramatic. It was just a joke." "That wasn't a joke." My voice cracked. "You humiliated me." "Oh come on. You're overreacting." "It was funny. You sat on his lap." "It wasn't like that." "It was exactly like that." Her expression hardened. "Maybe if you actually acted like a husband instead of a roommate, I wouldn't need to get a little attention." I blinked at her, stunned. She said it so easily, like she'd rehearsed it. "I've been trying," I said. "I've been here. Supporting you. Loving you." She stared past me down the hallway, avoiding eye contact. Maybe that's not enough for me anymore. There it was. The truth she'd been circling around for months. The truth she chose to reveal to strangers before admitting it to me. I swallowed hard. "Is he the reason?" "Don't twist this," she snapped. "You pushed me away." I felt something inside me tear. "You already left," I murmured. For a moment, her face softened. Just a moment. Then she looked back toward the ballroom and the man who still sat waiting with a satisfied grin. "I'm going back," she said. "We'll talk later." She turned without waiting for my response. As she walked away, her heels clicking like a countdown, I realized that the decision I needed to make had already been made for me. Later came the next morning. She woke up late, hungover, while I sat in the kitchen with a cup of coffee that had gone cold an hour earlier. She entered the room with a dry mouth and no shame. "What's wrong now?" she asked, annoyed by the silence. I slid the divorce papers across the table before she could pour her coffee. The envelope landed with a heavy thud. Her face drained of color. "You're ending our marriage over one stupid night?" she asked. "No," I said. "I'm ending it because last night showed me how long it's been over." She opened the envelope with shaking hands. "You can't be serious." "I deserve respect," I said quietly. "And you deserve someone who enjoys the show you like to put on." Her voice cracked. "I didn't mean to hurt you." "But you did." I stood and pushed in my chair. "And you enjoyed it." Her tears came too late. The damage was carved deep. My heart still ached, but it beat stronger than it had in months. As I walked toward the door, she whispered my name, a plea caught between fear and regret. I didn't look back. If I did, I might lose the strength I finally found. Last night she chose an audience. This morning I chose myself.